Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar. We're just going to wait maybe 2 more minutes so that more people can join, and then we will start with the presentation. Okay, so good afternoon again to everyone. Thank you for joining us for this LuxFLAG quarterly webinar on elevating sustainable standards in insurance products. So we hope you're all doing well despite the bipolar weather. So I'm Nairi Tarakjan, Business Development and Marketing Associate here at LuxFLAG, and I'm joined here today with Leonardo Valtierra, Senior Sustainability Operations Officer. So here we have the table of contents for today. So first of all, I will start you off with an introduction to the LuxFLAG for those of you that have never maybe heard of us. Then I will describe what is a LuxFLAG label, what makes us unique, our label benefits, and our diverse label portfolio. And then my colleague Leonardo will give you an introduction and a deep dive into the LuxFLAG ESG insurance product label. And he will explain a bit our quarterly labeling process and give you an idea of our quarterly application deadlines. And then to finish us off, we will have a Q&A session. Please make sure to put all of your questions in the Q&A chat box. My colleague Viola has put a message so you can all see where to put your questions, and we will try to answer as many as we can at the end of our presentations. So to start us off, a bit about LuxFLAG. What is LuxFLAG? So LuxFLAG is an independent and international nonprofit association. It was founded back in 2006 by 7 private and public founding members that you can see here on the right. We have ABBL, ADA, ALFI, the EIB, Luxembourg Stock Exchange, and Luxembourg for Finance, and last but not least, the government of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. Then we have ACA that joined us as a newer member, so our 8th member back in 2023. So why was LuxFLAG created? LuxFLAG was created to foster sustainable finance both locally and internationally. So now that you have an idea about LuxFLAG, let's dive a bit deeper, and I'm going to tell you what is a LuxFLAG label. So our labels were created to give clarity and additional guarantee to the end investors. So a label is a certification that is provided to financial products that meets specific criteria of transparency, sustainability, and social responsibility. So our labels really aim to build investor confidence by verifying that the investment product actually meets the environmental, social, and governance criteria claims to, so the ESG criteria. So we really help guide investors in identifying and choosing financial products that are genuinely sustainable and responsible. As you will see after, we have a very diverse label portfolio, and there are several types of LuxFLAG labels. We have, first of all, our impact labels for products with clear positive social or environmental impact, and our sustainability transition labels for products focusing on ESG best practices. So we also have a label that was designed for pre-launch funds, and this is called the AFS, which stands for Applicant Fund Status Label. So this label was designed for products that are still in the launching phase and are still fundraising. All of our labels have very specific eligibility criteria and or exclusion, as well as alignment with the EU regulations and equivalent frameworks. You can find all of the information on our website, and if you have any more questions, please put them in the chat and we will answer after. So what makes LuxFLAG unique? First of all, we are a pioneering nonprofit. that has been obviously doing what we do since 2006. We have a global outreach, which is very important because not all labeling agencies can label products that are domiciled all around the world. So we have obviously this uniqueness of being able to label products from any different jurisdiction. We also are very unique in the sense that we are the first labeling agency that has been awarded the ISAE 3000 certification, and we are audited on this on an annual basis. We additionally have in-house expertise on impact investing and sustainable finance. We have very stringent quality standards when it comes to our labeling process, a solid governance, a diverse asset class range, which means we're able to label many different types of financial products and different financial assets. And again, as I said, any different type of geographical location. Apologies for that. So now to dive a bit deeper into the LuxFLAG benefits. So as you can see, there are many benefits to having and obtaining one of our labels. First and foremost, LuxFLAG label adds credibility and trustworthiness to financial products. And therefore, it gives a real signal to investors that the product meets rigorous ESG standards. Our label also allows for market differentiation and help distinguish sustainable financial products from other more conventional non-ESG products. So whilst providing transparency and clarity to investors, our labels also help mitigate risks, any type of risk that are associated with ESG factors. And as mentioned before, and very important to mention again, our labels can be used on a global scale. Therefore, financial products can apply independently of their country of domicile or their country of distribution. Last but not least, getting a label helps investors know if a product is focused on sustainable growth, which at the same time can improve long-term performance. So now that you know a bit about our benefits and what makes LuxFLAG unique, I will give you a look into our diverse label portfolio. So here we have first and foremost our impact labels, so the first family of labels, and we have the microfinance label, the environment label, the climate finance, and last but not least, green bonds. And then moving on to the second family, we have our sustainability transition labels, which the insurance product is a part of. So first of all, we have ESG for insurance products, and ESG for discretionary mandates. So this is a bit of an overview. Thank you for listening. I will now pass on to my colleague Leo, who will give you an in-depth description of ESG insurance product label, and we'll also talk about our quarterly labeling process and our deadlines. And again, any questions you may have, please put them in the chat and we will answer after Leo's presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nairi. Hello, everybody. Very glad to be here and glad to see you very numerously as well. So let's look into the ESG insurance product label itself. So as you see on screen, so this label has been launched in November 2021. And the objective is, well, as all of our labels in general, is of course to reassure investors that sustainability is part of the product. In this case, the product is contributing to a transition towards mitigation and adaptation to the climate crisis, as well as to other environmental and social solutions. So here, what is important to take away, and then I'm deep diving already a bit into our criteria for this specific product, is that the portfolio needs to be 100% screened, okay? And the basis for this, as Nairi mentioned before, so as part of the transition family of labels, so we have the ESG and the insurance product basically being a part of this family, we rely on the same sort of exclusions as the ESG label. So when I talk about the exclusions, I'm talking about exclusions policy, in the sense that you need to be sure that the investments that you are having in your product, being it either external or internal, in the case of the insurance product, they need to be 100% screened, meaning we apply a so-said look-through approach, in the sense that if you're invested into external third-party funds, for instance, you will need to be sure that you have a process in place that that will ensure that these third-party funds, for instance, are also taking into consideration ESG. So and that they are in line also with these social exclusions. The exclusions, to be a little bit more precise, so we are talking about controversial weapons. That would be the first set of exclusions. What is included in the controversial weapons? We're talking about anti-personnel mines, cluster munitions, chemical, biological weapons, white phosphorus, depleted uranium weapons, and nuclear weapons. And all the companies or the underlying companies of your product, they need not to be involved in the production, sales, or distribution of these controversial weapons. Same for tobacco. So tobacco is a second set of exclusions. In this case, we're looking at the tobacco itself, but as well as the related products to tobacco, for instance, e-cigarettes, and services like the filters. And all companies need to be excluded with a threshold. We have a 5% threshold for the production of such products, and we have 15% threshold for the sales and distribution of these products. Next on our list would be the controversial behavior. So here we are looking at the United Nations Global Compact. So there's 10 principles. So you need to make sure that some sort of screening is performed, that none of these underlying companies or issuers, which are part of your offer, that they are not engaged in issues or controversial behavior such as human rights or child labor. So there's a number of principles, and you want to make sure that the exercise is done. And lastly, also controversial jurisdictions. I mean, here I think it speaks for itself. So there's, of course, the United Nations Security Council sanctions list, which we are looking at, and then the call for action jurisdictions from the Financial Action Task Force. So in most of the cases, I mean, talking about specifically your insurance products, or as an insurance product supplier itself, in itself, you would be looking at your anti-money laundering. So KYC. So in most of the cases, those jurisdictions would be anyways part of that exercise. So that would be they would be implicitly already covered. So much for the exclusions. And so again, I'm repeating myself, but it's important. So it's 100% screening, look-through in case necessary. And the second, I would say, major condition for the insurance products, so for this family funds, is that at least 66% of the offered products, they need to be either Article 8 or Article 9. So in the meaning of the SFDR, this is, to be honest with you, we have a number of applicants that are already labeled. I can tell you that all of them, they are at 100% level. So it's 60%, 66% is the bar is not that high, And I like to mention as well that we are reviewing these criteria also, since we're also learning from what's going on, and of course best practices, and through the experience with our applicants. So this may change, but of course we would let you know. For the moment, the criteria and the bar is set at 66%, Article 8 or Article 9 products in the meaning of FDR of the underlying offered funds. So the offered, we're talking here about the offer in your product, or the 66% needs to be met. And again, it's 100% screened portfolio. We have a set of strategies for those that are not yet acquainted much with sustainable finance. There's different strategies. I mean, we would be looking for sure at negative screening already per se. When we're looking at your solutions, that would be already one of the strategies. You would need 3 of these ESG strategies at least to have integrated into the investment process of your insurance product. And lastly, the asset manager must be regulated, supervised. I think that's common sense. In this case, the promoter, insurer of the applicant insurance product shall demonstrate best practices and again be duly authorized by the competent supervisory authority. That is for the criteria. If I move on, sorry for this, to the labeling process as such. Again, it's also maybe kind of unique for LuxFLAG. We have this quarterly labeling process, meaning that we have throughout the year 4, let's say, windows of applications. So you can apply anytime every 3 months. In the year, we're currently looking at the 3rd quarter of the year. The window is currently open, meaning that this next cycle of applications is going to start on the 1st of July. So we're actually now good in time as well. If you have any products that would like to have labeled, shoot, of course, with the questions and everything, we will for sure will respond to them. And that is the first point here in the presentation, as you see throughout an onboarding. So each time there's a potential applicant, we'll make sure to onboard this applicant, to consult, to see if the label is actually a fit or not, or if the product is meeting the eligibility criteria, which I mentioned just before. Then once this step is through, and let's say we are now beginning of July, and the full process starts, then the application review starts with it, meaning we would be doing a pre-analysis. And a part of this application review, we will be inquiring and asking you for evidence. So we will be sampling a number of items from the portfolio that you would submit to us. All this is being done through an application questionnaire. So when you are in the process of applying and the latest throughout the onboarding step, you will receive from us an application questionnaire that you will need to complete and send along with a set of documents that are required. For instance, for the insurance products, of course, we would like to have your POG, right? So that is one set of documents that we would like to have, the product oversight and governance, and then the sample is a subsequent step, and then we will engage with you. So it's some sort of if you wish, a sparring exercise, which is very beneficial for you, because we will challenge what you have basically submitted to us. So we will ask questions, and we will want to see that the sample selection is basically adhering to the procedures that you have put in place. So it's due diligence exercise, a bit of a desktop research audit as well. We will engage with you throughout emails, if necessary, calls. We're always open for calls to clarify any sort of questions. And the third step of this labeling process, of course, is the quality assurance. So you need to know that we're at LuxFLAG, as my colleague Nari also mentioned, we are ISAE certified. So we make sure that our governance is very robust. And in that sense, from the quality assurance point of view, also, we have put in place, of course, the 4 eyes principle. There's always someone behind who's going to be also checking and challenging what is being done. And that's enhancing, of course, the quality of the label application reviews. The fourth step, and now we're looking, if I go back to this 3 months that the quarter lasts, so we'll start onboarding in June now for this coming cycle. In July, the whole thing starts, we kick off, and then we review, and somewhere along then the third month, in this case September, at the latest, in the third week, roughly, is where you will be receiving the label decision. So this is, well, let me rephrase. So there's going to be a thorough assessment. So besides the quality assurance process and our internal review, we will come together with a dedicated committee of experts, specifically for the insurance product. And that's where we will basically review again all the applications, and our CEO will make a recommendation for these eligibility committees and for the board of directors, which at the end of the day, the board of directors are the ones who are having the last final decision. But again, this is another, let's say, a sparring exercise, internal though, where we will be, presenting your application, defending if needed, in the case, where we feel there's a room for improvement, but yet the applicant is nevertheless eligible through our criteria. So that is at the end of the application cycle, and then the label issuance is the fifth step. That is really at the end of the third month, when you will be receiving, throughout the board decision, we will be communicating to you that the product has been awarded a label or not. And if it has been awarded a label, maybe subject to certain conditions because things were missing, or maybe things need to be followed up because, for instance, maybe the disclosure in the documentation was not exactly clear. I think at this point I want to stress it is very important to us that disclosure, and specifically what is conveyed as a message to the retail investor, is very clear and transparent. So we want to make sure, even though we know internally you are doing things in a way, we want also to be sure that this is communicated to the investors as such. And lastly, the last point in this process is, of course, the renewal. So this label that you will be awarded is valid for 12 months, so a full year. And of course, we would be happy to reissue a label and confirm that you're still, eligible and that you're still applying and applying all the rules. So that's a yearly exercise. As you know, I think throughout, I think a year is it's common sense because, of course, the content, the products may change. You may change as well or alter your policies. So that's why we have put in place this yearly process where we would want to review your products over again. So that's the labeling process. And I think, well, here I think I already mentioned it implicitly. Now that it's the view for the full year. So again, for you, we are here at the Q3 with the submission deadline being at the end of this month. The sample selections that I mentioned, part of the review, roughly in the second month of the cycle. We're reviewing it up to early September. The committee comes together in September, and the board toward the end of the third month, and then the communication of the label award at the end of Q3 in this specific case. I think we are now throughout the specificities of the criteria and of the IP. So now we're open for any sort of questions.
Yeah, thank you, Leo. You can now put your questions in the Q&A chat box if you have. Maybe we give you 1 or 2 minutes if you have any questions. And of course, you can contact us for any other specific questions here, and you can also shoot us an email if you have any more specific questions or would like to schedule a call with myself or any of my colleagues. As Leo mentioned, we start with an onboarding phase because we want to make sure that the applicant is aligned with our eligibility criteria, and we also make sure to match the right label to the right type of product that is wishing to apply for the label. So, yeah. Okay, so for now, we only have one question that was partially answered by our colleague, Amit. So we can read it out in case any of you
Yeah, maybe for the benefit of the audience. So the question is, what is adoption of LuxFLAG in Latin America, or Southeast Asia? And yeah, totally in line, LuxFLAG, and I think it's maybe important to highlight that not because Lux is in the name of our agency that we are restricted only to geography. We are actually acting internationally. Yeah, the products labeled are distributed in more than 70 countries. We are having as well, if I don't mistake, 8 jurisdictions where basically the products are being domiciled, so not only in Luxembourg. And yeah, non-EU jurisdictions, USA, UK, Hong Kong, Switzerland, are in there. And as for the asset managers in Latin America, I think we would be happy to hear, to hear it from them and take them on board as well. Yes.
So thank you, Borja, for your question. It seems that so far it is the only one. We might wait another 1 or 2 minutes to see if there's anything else. But of course, feel free to reach out to us through our website or on our email communications@luxflag.org. We take any requests for meetings, and we'd be happy to discuss anything and answer any of your questions. Okay, it seems like we don't have any other questions. People are being shy today, but that's okay. Well, thanks again for joining us. Oh no, okay, there is one question. 1 second, we will read it out.
Okay, so the question is, yes, the label validity is for 12 months. And if it's not renewed after the first year, the principal reason, but others indeed sometimes, but normally the labels are renewed. We've seen cases where this is not the reason, and not the case. For instance, and we had just discussed this morning a case. It's where basically the fund came in the specific example, the products came to maturity. So there was no, of course, no case to have this product further labeled. So it would be one reason why, and then maybe the question is, in the sense that from our side, why we would not review or renew a label. Well, I think I partly mentioned as well. So of course, if the conditions are not met with this second renewal, then that would be also key, that that a key reason why the label would not be awarded the label. I don't think we have seen many cases. Mostly what I think we would say maybe is that the label or that the product has shifted or moved in a way that the criteria are not much a fit for the specific label, and they would then shift to a different sort of label. As you saw, we have a different families with different scopes. So yeah, that would be potentially also a reason why not renewing and moving to a different label family.
Okay, thank you, Leah, for your question. I hope we were able to answer that. And my colleague Yola has put our email in the chat, so you can copy that and reach out if you want to dive a bit deeper. That's not a problem. So just let us know. And unless any last minute questions pops up on the screen, I think we will end this session today. So again, thank you very much. We hope you learned something new today, and we hope you will reach out to discuss about our labels. And yeah, we're available at any time. So thank you, Leo.
Thank you, Nari, and also thank you to the audience. And again, the window is currently open, so if you have any products, just feel free to reach out, and we can talk to them more in detail throughout the specific products that you may have.
Yes, exactly. Okay, and it seems like the sun has finally joined us. So we wish you all a sunny afternoon, hopefully. And yeah, thank you very much. Bye-bye to everyone.
Bye.